All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of the podcast. I'm your co-host M2 Dave, and I'm here with.
What's up, guys? It's Rio, and I'm looking forward to play Cabal in MK11.
Yo, what's up, guys? Zyphox here. You already know.
All right, thanks
Hey,
for
what's up?
tuning. Hey, thanks for tuning. We got
Dave, you ruined it.
dude, King.
I'm sorry, go on.
Yo, I don't
Just
even
keep it
know
going.
why
It's
we
good. It's
vibe.
fine. We don't. It's fine. It's fine.
It's honestly fun.
It never works anyway. It always.
All right,
goes,
true.
it
You
always
always
goes bad.
mess this up. Anyway,
Yeah,
we wanna-
Tom, are you there?
What are you doing?
Okay, we
Yeah, we're
got.
starting now.
We're starting. We got two special guests for you guys today. We have Tom, Brady, and we also have got the Forever King with us. Let's just start with. I would like everybody's opinion on just your initial impressions on the game. Let's start with Rio.
Okay, I think the game looks amazing. I was completely surprised to see that they even took the whole direction that they did with MK11. I was expecting us to get MKX 2.0, like, running back, faster characters, everything like that. So I'm incredibly surprised at the direction they took.
Zyphox.
Initially, man, I'm just blown away how beautiful the game is. But more importantly, just the design choices that Interesting decided to do with this game just has me excited. It's really gonna be something that everyone's gonna love. I think at the end of the game's life.
King, you played the game. What do you think?
Yeah, so I actually got to attend the MK11 reveal, and sitting there live in person, like watching the countdown, that was probably the most exciting moment of my life when they very first showed the gameplay, and we got to see all those fatalities and everything. Definitely the most beautiful fighting game you're ever gonna see. To
What
be
was going
honest,
through your head when that was happening?
what's up?
What was going through your head when you were seeing all that for the first time?
I was like, dude, this is gonna be the best video game ever made. Like, how are they gonna top this? But yeah, I got to play it a little bit, and to be honest, my first impressions weren't too crazy because I thought it was really, really slow and sluggish. The jumping was very slow and floaty, kind of like felt like everyone had Fairtor's jump or Bane's jump, and the walking was extremely slow, and the dashes you can cancel it like MK9, but not nearly as early as MK9's dashes. So I was like, what was the point of putting in the dash cancel if you can't cancel it early? But that was only with an hour or two of playing, so I'm sure the more we play it and get used to it, we're gonna get better with the movement. It's gonna feel more fluid and faster. After I played it for like 2 hours, I started feeling less and less like that. I do kind of hope that they buff the walk speed up a little bit because the game just feels like really slow right now. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll get into that. That's something the community is complaining
Can I say
about.
can I say something real fast to what King said?
Go ahead.
I just want to say that recently I went from driving a car that's fast versus car that's slow. And what's amazing is when you realize that the slow car is actually the normal car. What I'm trying to say to you is that we are used to playing fast-paced games, and because something that might be slower, like especially MK with the fucking screen so close, it's basically like going from a fast car to like a slow car. And you're expecting the slow car to go the same speed when you push enough of your foot on the pedal. I'm just saying that's my analogy for this. I think that once we get used to it, it's not going to be as slow as we're seeing it right now.
Yeah, I'm hoping as we get better at the game, all the new options that we get used to, the amplifying and everything, that it's going to feel much faster.
I just want to say, seeing like Ketchup play against Mustard and seeing Hayate play Scorpion, like watching their gameplay, they look like they were like playing at like a faster level than everybody else. If you noticed,
I didn't get to watch Ketchup versus Mustard.
yeah, they played like probably the best Scorpion versus Sub-Zero set you're gonna see so far in MK11, and the gameplay was like fast, like they were like just fighting each other. It was like an all-out brawl almost.
I also want
Same thing with when Hayate was playing Scorpion against Honeybee and stuff. His was just like fast gameplay on top of gameplay.
Yeah, before we get into the specs, Tom, let me get your perspective. Your first impression about what you saw and stuff. What do you think?
My first impression is very similar to King's as far as the speed of the game. I was a bit concerned because, like King said, whether a game is fast or slow, it's kind of like perception. We're so used to seeing things move at a certain speed and playing things at a certain speed. Much like if you would go back and play MK9 today from MKX, feels kind of weird because you start neutral jumping and your first instinct is to move faster, steal your turn back, etc. What I think what I noticed the most about it is they took a game, and I guess at first you look at it and you say, oh, it looks slow. But it only looks slow because we're basically playing Mortal Kombat without any of the new options. We're just playing it like we would play a normal Mortal Kombat game. We're not really implementing how the new bars are using or the perfect guard, how it's being used. In reality, there's a lot of aspects of that game that if you master it, it can still keep a very solid neutral heavy game, but also speed the game up because of all the things that we're using in the game. I think it's easy to look at a game and say it looks slower when you're only using about half of the engine. So I think the speed looks good because I don't think it's ever going to slow down. I think in time, as we get more used to it, it's only going to speed up. Like, we're not going to play it any slower than it looked. If anything, it's going to get faster the more acclimated we get to it. So I thought it had absolutely tremendous potential, possibly the best fighting game I've ever played.
Tom, if you had to compare it to a prior MK game, which one would, or even Injustice, if you wanted to use that example, what would you say?
I hate comparing it to this game because it's nothing like the game at all. But it's hard to. The only reason why I would say Mortal Kombat 9 and only Mortal Kombat 9, not because of it's MK9 again. I'm not one of those MK9 zealots, I guess, who thinks every game should be that way, because I don't. I would say it compares to the fact that a lot of people don't understand what true neutral really is. Neutral is one of the hardest things to ever play in a fighting game, and I think it compares that way because so many of the newer games are all about stealing your turn back. Much like if we play MKX, we do something, it doesn't work out. The first thing we want to do is neutral jump, etc., steal our turn back. But this game seemed very back and forth, very neutral heavy, no one to jump, no one to advance. So I would say, I don't want to say Mortal Kombat 9 because I guess if I had to compare it to a new NRS game, that's what I would say. But it reminds me more so of like a more classic flow of fighting games long before a game was all offense. But I think that's really good because I feel like newer games are more anime style. You pick the game up, it looks really hype at first. It's like, 50-50s and pressure and set play. And not that there's anything wrong with those things. They all have their place in fighting games. But I just feel like those kind of things start out really hype. Everybody loves them. Everybody wants to watch it. But if the game, that's all it has to offer, then a year later, everyone is not as hype anymore because somebody's always in a pressure or a set play situation. So I think the game does a great job of balancing those situations from what I've seen.
King, do you agree with this perspective that it kind of plays similar if you had to compare to MK9 or not?
I mean, MK9 was definitely way faster, I would say. I know a lot of people will hate this comparison, but its walk speed was way more like Injustice, maybe even Injustice 1. I don't know. Like, it seems really slow right now.
Which is
But
not
like
necessarily
everyone,
a good thing because a lot of people didn't like that about Injustice 1. Like, that was the one thing we didn't like about it.
but like everyone's saying, like maybe the more we get used to it and we get high level with the game and get used to the new mechanics, we might be able to move around faster. But it's definitely not a game that you could just pick up in one day and be really good at. Like MK9 and Justice 1, MKX and Justice 2, I felt like in one day we're already moving around good. We're already doing 40% combos, this and that. MK11 is not like that at all. Like, we couldn't really find that many combos in one day. We couldn't really move around the way we wanted to. This game might take longer, like weeks, to actually get like decently high level at.
Can you give an example? I noticed when we were talking the text, you said that's like amplified moves. It's not just pressing, the block button to get the better
Yes.
version. Like,
So every character, like, in the past NRS games, when you meet a burn attack, all you got to do is press R2, and that's that. In MK11, they're changing it to amplify. And instead of pressing R2, every character's special move has different specific inputs. Like, so for example, with Sub-Zero, if you wanted to meter burn the spear, it might be like forward and square at the same time instead of R2. And then his slide meter burn might be like up and circle or something. So instead of just meter burning with R2 with every character, every different special move had its own specific input to meter burn it.
Speaking of,
See, I really like that. I
yeah.
think that's a step in the right direction, doing that. Because think about it. How many times did people say, oh, they want characters to have more depth, this and that, right? Think about it. In MKX, right, you can go from character, you can character hop from character to character and do moves, and it's not really that much of a difference, right? But now in MK11 with that new mechanic, like going from like Cabal to Noob Saibot for like just a random character example, you would have to know the characters in and out. It's going to be harder to go from character to character like that. Like you're going to have to really put in time to learn these characters now instead of playing like, 10 characters at the same time. It's going to take more effort on the player's part to get better with the characters, get familiar with their moves. I like that direction.
Yeah, this is not a problem at all for character
Yeah, I
loyalists.
love that.
But
I love that. I think they need to keep that.
for people that like to pick up half the cast or like a bunch of characters, they basically just add a bunch of memorization. I don't know if I like that choice because it's not even like they're making the game harder execution wise. They're just making it more memorization than before.
King, you don't like it because
Yeah,
you
which
can't counter.
rewards
No,
the people
King,
that
the only
main a
reason
character
King
pretty
doesn't
much.
like it because he can't counter pick. That's the only reason he doesn't like it.
Because you
King,
can't what?
be honest, right? That's really what bothers you. You don't give a shit about being a character
I mean,
loyalist.
I'm really hoping that Shao Kahn's top tier and I can just character loyalist him. But
But
if he's not, then I might go
yeah.
the counter picking route like I always do.
Speaking of individual characters, Tom, no clone man. Comments. We need you to comment on this.
I think it's the best thing they've ever done for Sub-Zero in a modern NRS game.
I'm done.
No, dude, he needs the clone.
I was kind of hoping against the clone to begin with, but I really wasn't sure where they were going to go with it. Obviously, the reason, as I was thinking, one of the best ways to promote neutral is not having a game full of armor attacks. One, just by putting the clone in the game forces a crap ton of armor attacks to be present, which automatically can really have some substantial effects. Two, it will also cause them to I guess, look at a lot of other aspects of his game and tone those down, because an ice clone by nature is one of the most broken moves I've ever seen in a fighting game. So it forces them to then balance Sub-Zero out to really make him very underwhelming in other areas. And I always thought, well, if there was no clone to begin with, he could just be more of a well-rounded character as opposed to just finding little tricks and things to work around that. So
Definitely.
I was very, very pleased with that. Can't have a game around neutral if one guy has a move that forces you to put 300 armor moves in the game. So I think
Is it even, Tom? Is it even confirmed that it's completely gone? Like, how do we know that not different variations?
He has an ice orb that works not like a clone. So what they did was Sub-Zero has a trapping aspect to him, which is fine, but it's so he still has his trapping aspect without actually putting a move in the center of the screen that destroys neutral. So he can still be a trapper. So if you're a Sub-Zero player and you like that aspect, it still remains, but it also doesn't completely shut the game down like a clone would.
Can you give details about this orb move? Do you know what it's like, or
I don't know the particulars, but I know it's used in a similar manner without shutting the game down.
okay?
So we're talking about like kind of like Dr. Fate's orb or Reptile's Force Balls?
Possibly. I don't know all the particulars on it yet.
Does he have this in all the variations, or is it just one? Do you know any of that?
No, probably just one. I didn't see it in some of the other variations.
Okay.
I didn't see people use it, and I'm assuming they would have.
Speaking of variations, do we know how it's going to work out with tournaments and stuff? 'Cause a lot of people want to know about that.
Yeah, well, apparently they said it's going to be 3 preset variations per character, like tournament balance variations. It's kind of like MKX. So even though you're able to customize and make your own variations, those won't be tournament legal. It's going to be the 3 preset ones like MKX per character.
So, and then I guess if you're into, so basically, like create a character, it's kind of like the MK Armageddon. You get to pick whichever moves.
Yeah,
you want,
but it's
and then-
more you get to customize your character. Yeah, exactly. So you have your own preset custom variation that you can play online and stuff. But for tournaments, it's going to be the 3 variations per character that NRS has.
Yeah, that sounds legit. Let me ask everybody about I mean, Tom, you've been in this community for a long time. Like, it seems like our community is the only one. You look at Street Fighter 5, they want the crush counter system gone. They want more involved footsies. Tekken, I don't have to talk about the community. But our community is the only one who looks at the game and is like, okay, footsie's boring. We don't want to play it. Why is it? Why does it have to be like this?
Footsie's boring. Well, I think it's just basically. I think it really just comes down to people just unfamiliar with something. It'd be no different than an old school player like myself saying, "Oh, unlimited offense, gross. Who wants that?" I just think in general, people kind of want it to go faster and faster and faster. And I just think it's just the very nature of today's players, different generations and stuff. Street Fighter has more of a legacy as far as past generations that are more heavily involved with the community than we have. So, while King is young, he's been around since the very beginning of the NRS community, in general. So, I think he would speak to a lot of these
Is
because,
that your
King used to
best?
play online all the time.
Tell
in
Tom I
MKX.
said hi.
You would say that the players, it went from how people kind of liked the way things were back then, but as newer players have come into the scene, they gradually wanted things to be faster, faster, and faster. I think you can have more options, like a crush system, like whatever they're giving you. And it still be a good thing. I think more options is always better because more is always better, but I'm not sure why they prefer a faster gameplay. It's just to each his own, I think. But I think a faster game, it doesn't really, again, it's just less options, So if everything's all offense, you don't have to worry about defense or zoning or anything in between. Just an easier game to play. And I think for the most people, more people care about being good today than actually having a game to play tomorrow because it died out so early. So I kind of think they're younger players, not all of them. There's no such thing as all or any, but I think a lot of younger players tend to be a little more short-sighted when it comes to fighting games. Fighting games don't generally attract the more hardcore crowd in gaming, which is why you see other games have so much of a bigger scene. So,
King,
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, a lot of people are putting, the people that say the game wants to be faster with, they don't like footsies. A game doesn't necessarily have to be missing out on footsies just because it's fast. Mortal Kombat X did have footsies. They're still whiff punishing and, punishing people landing, missing an air normal, things like that just because it's fast. If Mortal Kombat 11, let's say, for example, if every character in Mortal Kombat 11 had Catwoman's walk speed in Injustice 2, there's still gonna be footsies. It's just gonna be a lot easier to maneuver around the screen and walk back and forth. And it's just gonna be faster paced footsies. And it's gonna be more interesting than just, moving like a turtle.
What I think Dave means by fast gameplay, and Rio brought this up before, is when you play MKX and everyone's had that feeling, right? When they break her and they're like, I can't move, right? Everyone's had that feeling before. They go to do something like, oh, I can't move right now. But when you can't run, unless you're maybe like a character like Jackie or someone like that, you feel more like stuck, like I can't move, I can't walk. But when you have run, you feel like I can move around. The game literally encourages you to go forward as now you can move, and not so much if you're trying to go backwards. So it's not a balance as far as I feel equally as comfortable going backwards as I feel going forward. I think what they mean by faster gameplay is that you can have footsies as long as you can do both options equally as fast. It doesn't matter if you want to go forwards or backwards. So while there's definitely footsies and mind games in MKX, it was designed to make you feel more comfortable going forwards than it was doing nothing or going backwards.
Definitely.
King,
I do agree there were footsies. I do agree with you.
King, if you can name names, because I know there were a lot of other high-level players there. Did anybody not like the game?
I don't want to put anyone on the spot or anything,
You're not. I mean, it's people. I mean, especially if they said it publicly on Twitter, you're not putting anybody on the spot. Just keep it real.
Some people, they said they didn't like the first impressions of it, but they said the same exact thing as far as possibly it's just because we only had 2 hours with it. So as we play it more and learn more, it's gonna feel faster and it's gonna be much better. Yeah, I only had 2 hours with it. That's it. So, and some people had even less than that. So you can't really judge a game based off of that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Speaking of, the game and all that stuff, I want to bring in Zyphox. I think, like, more than anybody that I've seen, like, he's been theorizing, how the game is going to play. Zyphox, can you talk about some of these new gameplay elements, and we'll have everybody kind of, like, chime in and see, which ones we think is going to add the most depth to the game.
Oh, crushing blows, 100%. I said it as soon as I learned about the concept. Crushing blows were going to be the meta from the beginning, just because you're going to want to maximize your damage. If you know that some move can give you more damage, even using it one time, makes it a valuable move to use. Let's just say, for example, Flash had 113 in Injustice, bro, or you could do like a high, mid, low. Fucking useless as hell. But if that shit launched on the very first time I used it, you'll be inclined to make even a freaking 1-1 Sonic Pound mix-up type of off of it. So these moves like Jerax, for example, he has a mix-up that both give him crushing blows. You know what I'm saying? And you as a player can use it at any moment. So just imagine using the mix-up, but then using the feature where you can hold the crushing blows, and then just not using it, and then just saving it for the last round. All of a sudden, the meta changed.
I was gonna say it's pretty crazy that you can save the crushing blow. Like you don't have to use it right away.
That's insane. Because now you can literally, as a Jerax player, hold your crushing blows until you're losing to make a comeback. And then on top of that, fatal blows too. It just changes everything.
But can you explain to the people who don't even know, like, what's a crushing blow? What's a fatal blow?
Right. So a fatal blow, a crushing blow is a move that kind of acts like brutalities, where you need to set a special condition prior to using the move to activate it. For example, Scorpion has to hit someone full screen with his spear. Anywhere else, even in a combo, that spear won't crushing blow unless you get him full screen. So that's just incentive to play that type of mind game during the match so you can max out on your damage. Another one would be teching throws, but guessing incorrectly. A lot of times when your back is in the corner and your opponent throws, you're assuming that they're going to keep you in the corner. So just imagine purposely leading somebody out of the corner to get the crushing blow damage at the end of the match. And instead, what he does is, knowing that, he just forward throws you like 2 or 3 times in a row. you know?
And what about the fatal? Is that fatal blow? Is that what they call it? It's kind of like an
Yeah.
X-ray.
It's sort of like an X-ray move, but it looks more like cinematic super to me, with like kind of like bloody fatality shit. And you can only get one of those per match, and it has a limited amount of armor. Some of them have different properties, like just X-rays in general.
I thought you can get it once per round.
Once per game.
It's literally once
Is
per
it?
match. Mhm.
Once per match. Yeah.
So if you use it in the first round to make a comeback, you're not gonna have it for the next 2 rounds. So it's kind of like basically kind of like having a clash. Except obviously it's a little different. But knowing when to use that clash, you want to get rid of them. If they have like a full life bar on you and it's game like 3 or down 2-0 or something like that, it's game 2. You might want to clash right away to get out of that situation so you can make a comeback. In this same
That's genius. I
scenario,
really like that concept.
and yeah,
I really like that concept.
in this same scenario, are you really gonna like try to make a 50% comeback? First round, like that's not really worth it. So knowing this, the defender, the second player knows, bro, I have too much life. There's no way he's gonna crush and blow me here. Basically, allows you to kind of control that situation. Just a thought.
Yeah, plus that move, like that concept alone, the crushing blow system gives characters more depth too, and it gives the move list, more viability to some of the attacks. Like for example, you know how MKX, every character has useless moves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Sub-Zero has what, like 114, and Predator has like 4-1-2 down 2 strings you never even see. Giving those strings something like a crushing blow mechanic that can reward you for using it in a certain aspect makes it so characters have more depth to them. Really, I really like that.
Let me give my take on this because I have a pretty strong feeling about this. I think it's the single most important thing they've added to Mortal Kombat. I kind of feel like Mortal Kombat in general, coming off Mortal Kombat X, characters all play similarly. You want to mix or get mixed, put them in these mix-ups, get your 50-50s, get your combos, knockdown, etc. And but the thing about fighting games, not every character's frame data is created equally. Some characters have great frame data, some are very good with combos, some aren't. And I'm going to relate this to like a Sub-Zero situation. For example, he's not a character that can stagger his strings very well in MKX. The beauty of that is the crushing blow scenario says, well, maybe you might be a character who's got very good offense, good pressure, and is able to mix up, get combos and good combos. But that may not be this character's game. So it's like, well, I like that some crushing blows are tied to counter hits. So it's like, well, this character traditionally would not, without crushing blow, wouldn't really be able to stagger their strings very well, because what's the real consequence for respecting an option? Because once you block it, so you don't really care. Like, you'll swing all day, But I think the crushing blow mechanic is like, well, if I hit this button right here and I get counter hit, it's no longer like one hit that does nothing. It could be a 30-40% of my life in a crushing blow. It basically gives characters who traditionally wouldn't have offense or wouldn't be able to stagger strings, etc., options they normally wouldn't have. And I think it adds great diversity to the game.
Well, that's a good take. Tom, what about the flawless blocking? Any takes from that? We don't know. I heard Slip say if you flawless block something, you take no chip, or then I heard people say maybe you take a little bit of chip. Like, I don't know exactly but apparently you can punish moves that would otherwise be unpunishable on block. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I do think you take no chip and you recover faster than you normally would if you block that attack. And I believe you have to block it to trigger the flawless block. You have to block within 3 frames of that attack, connecting with you.
Well, did you feel like you could do it somewhat consistently when you were playing the game? Was it really hard?
I was trying to. I only did it like once or twice on purpose, but I'm sure with more time, people are going to master it. Especially, for example, if there's like a gap, like if someone has a 2-2-3 and there's a gap between the 2 and the 3, you can block the first 2 hits and then like let go of block and time your flawless, shield as a third hit hits you. And maybe that third hit is usually safe on block, but when you flawless block it, you can punish it. So I
What
think it's
about
going to be really cool.
what about using it as like an anti-zoning tool to avoid taking chip damage and to move in faster to the opponent? Do you think it can be used like that too?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like for example, I was playing Infinity in casual. She was using Sonya, and her amplified projectile. She shoots like 2 projectiles, like a high and a mid. There was one time where I crouched the high one, and then I perfect shielded the second one, and I took no chip damage. So
So I guess for people who are concerned about zoning, wouldn't that be like an option that you can use to? I mean, I understand it's difficult to do and it's going to take some time, but that seems like an option. And if somebody's spamming projectiles full screen away, remember they're not building meter because of the way the meter system works, and they're not chipping you because you're flawlessly blocking. So that seems like it's a big deal.
oh yeah, it's extremely good for getting in on zoning. It's actually funny because this game kind of has a lot of Smash mechanics. In Super Smash Brothers, there's a perfect shield where if you block within 3 frames, your shield doesn't go down at all and you recover instantly. And even in Smash Bros, like if you hold down the jump button, you'll jump high, but if you lightly tap it, you'll short hop, and that's also an MK11.
Yeah, short jump is a huge mechanic, going back to the very first Smash Brothers. Um,
I love that mechanic.
I think they added a lot to this game. I mean, normally with Mortal Kombat, it's always been what's the one new thing they're going to add. You know what I mean? Like they're going to add 1 or 2 new things. In this game, they added so much to the game.
Like more than half of the game seems new.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the game is, I mean, like King says, it's just something that you could tell is going to take a lot longer than like, okay, let me go into practice mode, find these combos, and then go. It's someone like King who's been an expert on many characters in the past. to say, hey, this game is going to take a little longer to kind of really focus in on to really get what you want to get down and feel comfortable. I think that's a huge sign of the game and how much more advanced they're trying to make Mortal Kombat. I think it's a great sign.
King, what do you think
Yeah, it
about?
seems like they're adding
Yeah.
depth to it, which is good. They're adding depth because if you look at it, just the short hop mechanic alone and the flawless block mechanic, those two things alone add so much depth and like skill gap to the game. Because to master those things, it's not just something like, oh, you do this move and you get armor, like super blatant. Like the short hop mechanic, you're gonna really have to understand how characters play. Like I noticed, what's the character? Scarlet had that one low thing where she throws this like low sludge and it crawls at you. In theory, you may be able to like short hop over stuff like that. Just utilize them against certain characters in situations. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and since
Yeah.
what's that?
Yeah. No, I was just gonna ask, King, when you were playing the game, because this is something Zyphox and Rio and I were talking along with Time yesterday. Like the way the super meter works. Like, did you feel a big difference? Like, was because I know it's weird because it just comes back automatically, right? What did you think about that? Was that really a big change, or?
Yeah, it's a very big change because that means, like when you're pressuring someone on block in the past IRS games, you're building hella meter. When you pressure someone on block, or when you're zoning, just back-to-back projectiles, you're building a lot of meter. That's not the case at all in this game. There's no meter build. There's no first hit bonus. Your meter it passively builds on its own. So you're just going to be playing the game like the same as you always would, and your meter is going to build on its own. So you're basically not really playing around your meter. You don't have to be like, oh, I want to use a breaker, but if I use a breaker, I can't like EX these moves because the breaker meter is separate from there's an offensive meter and a defensive meter. So you're not going to be really thinking about meter as much. You're just going to be more into the match, if that makes sense.
Also, I think you make a great point because if you think back to, I guess the Foxy Grandpa 3 breakers in 1 round Melina days, it's kind of like you would say, well, I can't let this character sit here and build meter all day because then every time I touch them, they're just going to break out of my combo, right? It really allows you to, like you said, to play the game as you would in any situation. You don't have to worry about, wow, this character's sitting on X-ray all day, or every time I get near them, they have a breaker, or it basically, everyone's going to have the same resource and it's going to regenerate at the same time. It's not like, oh, well, this character has better meter building than this character or whatever. It kind of makes that aspect of the game a little more fair, so to speak.
Yeah, that's perfect. Because think about it. How many times have we seen in countless NRS games where someone full screen is zoning shit at somebody? Like, for example, Dr. Fate versus Green Arrow in Injustice 2, right? You're full screen away from Dr. Fate. He's chucking these fireballs at you. You as a Green Arrow player, not only are you taking chip, but you're not building any meter. And the player who's zoning you out is getting meter after meter after meter. So when you finally get in after having to deal with all that zoning, you have no resources. And he has resources. Now it's going to be better about who manages their meter. Everyone's slowly going to get it back. And it's going to be about where do you make it count? Like, how do you want to use your meter exactly? Because everyone's going to be able to use it. I think that's a step in the right direction.
It's going to build fairly for everybody.
Yeah, it's fair because look at it like HQ10 versus a character in MKX, right? He's full screen zoning shadow. You get in, you're going to have some kind of resources now. It's not going to be like you completely get shut down and you have to get in with nothing,
Yeah.
I like it that way. So it's so much better.
You can take your time being patient, getting in on somebody.
Exactly.
And you're not, the other person's not benefiting from you being patient and getting in.
Yeah, it's actually perfect for NRS games if you think about
King,
it.
I want to ask you a question. What was the opinion of no breaker? That being completely gone.
I didn't hear a lot of people talk about that actually.
That's huge, I would think.
I think it's the best change so far.
Besides
Breakers were garbage. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Franco hates it. But besides him, I didn't really hear anyone else talk about it.
Dude, I never liked the breaker system since 3D MK. It's bad. Like, think about it. You have breaker in Mortal Kombat game, right? Like Melina, you have a breaker. Why wouldn't you randomly ball roll there? If you hit them, you get a full combo. If they block it, I'll break. Who cares, right? It promotes that kind of play. I think it's dumb. With the breaker system gone now, when you get hit, you're gonna get punished.
I think that.
But they added 2 new mechanics, right? They added like the breakout mechanics from Injustice 2. But
yeah, I was gonna say I think that in the past NRS games, since the combos were so huge, it made sense to have breakers. Like imagine fighting Cyrex MK9 with no breakers, But now that combos are way smaller,
But
like
it
it's
still
gonna
didn't
be.
help us. That's-
But yeah, now that combos are way smaller in MK11, the breaker is not really as necessary.
Yeah, that is true.
What I really like about it is it doesn't give you, unlike Injustice 2, you don't have that extra layer of security. Like going back to what Rio was saying about building the meter unfairly, you could have no resource, right? So you finally get in on somebody doing XYZ to you. You get in, they have all the resource you don't. They say, look, I've got 4 bars. This guy doesn't have any. They get hit. They say, you know what? I'm going to take a gamble here. I'm going to escape this combo, right? They escape it. They get reset. They're like, you know what? I'm going to escape again. They get reset again. They go, you know what? You still don't have any resource. Now I'm finally going to clash. It's like you would have had to guess right 4 times. You know what I mean? To really put them in that scenario where this is like, you do have your escape, but there's no breaker, there's no clash. You just get that one chance, and if the opponent makes the right read, you're done. Period. So I think it's really, really good because it takes that aspect and takes a scenario that we've seen it before. You know, somebody gets caught, they have so much more resource, they try to escape, guess wrong, and then they clash, right? So really, they kind of had a second chance of insurance, just because they had that extra resources. Now I kind of feel like there is more finality to it than there's ever been in NRS games.
I think
Yeah, that's
another
perfectly
interesting
said. I
thing.
agree.
Another interesting thing is there isn't frame 1 armor in this game anymore, as far as I know.
Was the
That's
armor?
another huge change that I like.
Yeah, was
That direction
well,
that
I
they're
know
going.
you would, Rio, but what about? Just kidding.
Okay, Dave.
No, I'm just trolling. What about speaking of armor, like, did you feel that? Like, what were the armor moves? Because I heard like it's very, very limited.
The fatal blows, pretty much.
Yeah, I didn't see any besides Fatal Blow. And Fatal Blow wasn't frame 1 armor. It was, more like Street Fighter style, how it starts up like frame 4 or frame 5,
That's good, man. Like that's makes it so characters have more like reasons to use them in situations rather than just I'm an armor because I can right now. You know, like not having to think about it.
Yeah,
Talk
frame
to
1
me about.
armor.
Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say frame 1 armor dominated footsies like so much, and MK9 and
Yeah.
MKX.
Or when you're -7 and you instantly do 1 frame armor move, like that was obnoxious. Now like things like that are gonna be less of a thing.
Bane.
Talk to me about the wake up system, King. So the wake up system is something that has been a big debate in NRS games in general. Can you kind of tell us how the wake up system is in that game? You know, how it works, the difference between the 2 wake up attacks, etc.
So you can either wake up with up 3 or up 2. Up 3 is generally like a fully invincible wake up, but it doesn't hit in the air at all. It only hits grounded. And up 2, it hits airborne wake up. I mean, it hits airborne attacks, and it's invincible to airborne attacks, but it's not invincible to ground attacks at all. And they took away the immediate tech roll. Like in the past NRS game, as soon as you hit the ground, you just press any button and you tech roll. In this game, there's kind of like a wait, and then it's when you're standing up. You can either press forward flip stance or back flip stance, and you'll like roll backwards or forwards. So it's not instant. It's not like an instant tech roll. It's like while you're standing up, but it's invincible. But your opponent can throw it if they read it.
And it takes resource to do that. The tech roll?
Yes, it takes a bar. It takes a bar to do all of those.
Did you mention the rolling as well, like rolling forward and backward? And can you also stay on the ground? Can you delay wake up too?
I actually don't. I think you can delay wake up. I don't remember.
Somebody said
honestly.
earlier, like way
It's
earlier,
quite a lot
that
to test,
delaying wake up
in just a
costs
small
2 bars of
period. Yeah.
defense. Yeah, somebody said that delay wake up costs 2 bars of defense to do.
Whoa. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you can, I didn't see it, but I know of the 4 wake up options: the anti-air wake up, the grounded wake up, and then you could either roll backwards or roll forward off the ground.
Can you wake up throw?
I didn't test. I didn't
Well,
try.
maybe wake up throw would cost like an offense and defense bar. I don't know. Just throwing out random ideas because like throwing from a wake up is kind of like an offensive move.
I'm assuming you can wake up throw, but it wouldn't cost anything. It's just going to be like a normal throw, like
Yeah, with no
reversal throw.
invincibility.
Talk to us about anti-airs, King. How did they feel in that game? That's another topic of debate.
Actually, anti-airs, like people like, I don't know if you guys, I'm sorry to interrupt, but people like Zyphox are tweeting that the anti-airs could be better. Like they're okay, but they're not as good as they thought they were going to be.
Yeah, it's not like MK9 where like every stand one's gonna beat every jab every time. They were decent. Like I seen I was using Scarlet mainly, and my down two was for the majority beating everyone's jump ins, but they had to be like really close to me. Like the anti-airs didn't reach that far. They
Did
kind of had to
Tom
be like
Brady
right
make
on
it to
top of me.
the
But if
LA
they jumped at me
reveal?
from a distance, it was a little bit harder to anti-air.
But at the same time, I see that's so much. That's to me doesn't sound so bad because I think I speak for everybody that an easy jab into like a huge combo is kind of ridiculous when it comes to anti-air. It's like you have no option to leave.
Yeah, that
ground.
shouldn't be universal option. But then again, in MK9, that wasn't the universal thing. Like only some characters really did that, like Smoke.
But I mean, the
Zero.
consequence was quite extreme. With Smoke, it was, oh, I got anti-aired. What happened? Oh, that's
You
100%
die?
reset combo there. It's like, it's like, what? 100% from a jab? It's kind of like, it's kind of like,
Well, I guess it's a trade-off because when you land a jump and you get a full combo into death. So
yeah, but
I
I mean,
guess
like a
for
jab out of the
they
air
need to make it
is
different.
kind
Every
of too
character should have
much.
different reward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some characters should be able to get a combo off anti-airs, but not every character should. They need to make it different.
What I really like
Character to
about that
character.
and the anti-airs, like that King just said. So what King just said, it basically is the farther out you are, the harder it is to anti-air, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're closer, the anti-air is pretty much automatic if you anticipate it, right? But if they're really, really far, they jump in, it's going to be very hard to impossible anti-air, correct?
Yes.
This actually sounds perfect to me
Because then you would be able to trip guard.
there's
and
no
it'll make
fast
that-
way to advance. So think about it.
Yeah.
If you have to leave the ground from that range to secure, like, this guy's not going to anti-air me. If your opponent reads that
Mhm.
and really messes with your spacing,
Just walks back.
when you land, it kind of like, that's what footsies really are. It's basically
Yeah.
manipulating where you think I'm going to be. You may think I'm going to be here, so you do this to catch me, only I'm not there anymore. Your attack whiffs, and instead of an uppercut, now I get a full combo. So I think that could really tie in like hand in hand. I saw uppercuts landing consistently from close range.
To me, it looked like Baraka had the best down two, from what I saw. Apparently, Sony has the worst anti-airs, and like Baraka's down two is the best. Have you gotten to try them at all, King? Like Baraka or Sonya?
No, but Infinity was maining Sonya, so I fought against her a lot. I don't know if it was just day one stuff, but it seemed like Sonya was having a really hard time getting in on Scarlet because Scarlet zoning is actually pretty good, especially because she has the far behind your back teleport. And Sonya,
Yeah.
there's no meter burn roll, there's no teleport, there's no run, dashes are slow, so she has to, patiently maneuver her way in. So characters that don't have like full screen presence and don't have a teleport or anything, I think zoning is actually going to be decent in this game.
Yeah,
I hope.
that seems to be the case. Tom, what were you gonna add?
Is it true that Slayer always checks his bracket now to make sure Infinity's not in it because he's loyal?
I'm pretty sure that's true.
Damn.
Oh man, that was awesome.
Well, Rio suggested that we also, before we wrap it up, we talk about the new characters. Honestly, I can't say much. I mean, is it Garrus? Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Garrus.
The only
Or
reason I
Jarrus.
even looked at it because he kind of looks a little bit like Tremor. Not, I mean, he moves rather like so.
He looks like a cooler version of Tremor, dude.
No, I don't know.
Guess he finally
No,
made it.
Tremor is the coolest, but
No, in terms of playstyle, he looks like he offers more.
Who are
than
the new
Tremor.
characters we know that are actually confirmed to be in the game? Just Garrus for right now, or
Garrus Chronica was in the story mode.
okay?
yeah, but we don't know anything.
No,
We don't know
that's-
anything. Yeah,
I mean, we don't know her powers and stuff, but we know she's like a character.
Yeah, okay.
Jarrus, he
Well-
does have Tremor's down 4. Yeah,
Oh, he
Tremor's down
does?
4. Yeah.
down four. But he doesn't play anything like Tremor, I would assume, right?
No, he doesn't.
He's more like a grappler, right? Isn't he?
Yes. And he does
What
have some
looks like a
anti-zoning
completely new
skills too. He has
character,
attacks that come out from underneath your feet.
Oh yeah, I did
Um,
see that. What about? Can you talk about like what is that? The time dilation slowdown thing. What is that about?
Yeah, I didn't see it myself, but from what I heard, I don't think it's going to be part of his base moveset. I think it's a specific variation. From what I heard, he can like either add 30 seconds or minus 30 seconds from the clock with like a amplified special move or something like that. Which I think that's awesome. Like no other character in any fighting game has ever done that. So that that was creative thinking outside of the box.
That's crazy to be able to revert time. Like, nah, bitch, we're playing this more.
Let me ask you a
Dude,
quick
NRS
question
thinks of
on some of the
everything, man.
enhanced moves, King, very quickly. You've played all the NRS games from the first one, the basically reimagining of Mortal
MK versus
Kombat.
DC, bro.
Oh, even MKDC you played under King.
All of them.
Willis, man, this guy.
Yeah,
This guy. So,
he was playing that Shao Kahn online.
But I remember his first message to me was like, "Hello, my name is Kristen Quillis. I've played these guys,"
I remember
and
that
I'm like,
thread.
and I was like, "What?" Like it came out of nowhere, like Xbox Live. But so you've known that enhanced moves in NRS games have typically been like extra enhanced, right? Like it's common for someone to say, "Hey, man, what's this move here?" They're like, "Oh, yeah, it's just a high teleport." Oh, cool. You know, what's the meter burn version do? Oh, it's a mid. Oh, that's awesome, and it has armor. Oh, okay.
And it's plus unblock.
And it's plus unblock. Oh, okay. And it launches.
And it's faster.
Oh, okay.
And it has a bigger
And it has a
hitbox.
second hit that's also overhead if you meter burn. Oh, okay. But that move can also be a low if you don't. What? How many enhancements does this move have? Have they kind of toned that down with enhanced moves? Like this move does this, and if you enhance it, it does that. Have they kind of like gone that route? Or are they still kind of overboard on it?
No, they most definitely toned it down, which I think is good because since the meter builds passively, the meter burn shouldn't be that much crazier. So, like for example, with Scarlet, I don't know if you guys seen, she has this trance move, kind of like Quan Chi, where she pulls you towards her.
Like a blood trance.
Yeah, the normal one, it's +4 on hit. The meter burn one, it's just +7 on hit, and it gives her like 5% health or something. So it's not too crazy. And her meter burn projectile, when she meter burns her projectile, it doesn't even do any more additional damage. It just gives her 5% health. Sonya's meter burn projectile, she just shoots a second ring. So every meter burn, it does like a small boost. It's not like a ridiculous boost.
Yeah, that seems, I think, the right idea. But I am a little bit concerned, if there's a really good enhanced move and the meter comes back quickly, that it's going to be, like heavily spammable. Because even if a character can't build meter, it doesn't really matter because they're going to get it anyway. So if I'm using a character that has a really spammable enhanced move, I can just keep doing it over and over again. Like you just do it once, wait until it recharges, just do it again. Like you can almost kind of, if you play a smart meter management game, it can be kind of devastating. Do you understand kind of what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. But so far from what we've seen, nothing's that crazy yet. But yeah, we haven't even seen half the cast yet, so who knows? And also from what I've seen, majority of the enhanced moves, they all enhance on hit. There's not too many that, yeah, there's not a lot that enhance like, the only ones I can think of are Sonya's enhanced rings and Scarlet, she has like the blood that goes across the floor. Those enhance as soon as you use it. But majority of the enhanced moves I've seen are on hit.
Can you just briefly also talk about like how Scarlet plays? Obviously she was MK9. I loved the pre-patch version. One of the best times I've had in my life. With daggers that were like 100 miles an hour and you could barely move. But can you? And she also had good rushdown back in the day. Can you talk about how the way she plays right now, though?
Yeah, she's a lot different, especially because this game is a lot different. She doesn't have that slide move that like slides her halfway across the screen and she can cancel into a lower overhead. Nothing like that. But she has superior range in this game. They gave her really good range with like her 4-2 and her back one. They both reach kind of like 1/4, maybe 1/3 screen, and she can cancel it on block into a safe special move. The variation that I like, I think it's mostly a zoning variation because she has teleports, kind of like Ares, I guess, where you can either teleport in front of them, behind them, or far behind them. But it's not nearly as good recovery-wise as Ares was. And a lot of her special moves, when you amplify them on hit, it gives her 5% health, like she's stealing blood from the other person. So you can kind of like keep zoning and running away and just keep building health if you keep, hitting and amplifying. And she has superior range compared to most characters, so she can kind of stay back. And her rushdown didn't seem that good because everything was minus. There's no mix. But in general, in this game, there's barely any 50-50s. So
I heard Sub-Zero and Sonya are the best mix-up characters. Like, Sub-Zero has, like, straight-up 50-50 strings that he can make safe.
Sub-Zero is actually the character I fought against the least. I fought against all the other
Okay.
characters, but barely anyone used Sub-Zero because he only had like 3 or 4 special moves. Everyone else had like 10, so no one really wanted to use Sub-Zero.
That's why you gotta love Sub-Zero, man. I love this dude's as vanilla and boring as the San Antonio Spurs, man. Love every minute of as boring as Sub-Zero is. Like, dude, people are like, "What a boring character," and I'm like, "Bro, this is like the most exciting thing I've ever seen." Would you say, King, in your opinion, that is more of a healthy? Like, I think Mortal Kombat games have gone from defensive and zoning dominated to the advantage shifting to the offense. Would you say that this is possibly one of the ones that is the most balanced as far as what you can do both offensively and defensively?
So far, I would say so, yeah. We've only seen like 6 characters. I'm really excited to see what the rest of the characters can do. I would assume there's going to be some crazy rushdown. Like, I hope Shao Kahn is like crazy brute force rushdown. I'd like to see strong zoners too.
Yeah.
I think Injustice 2 had some of the best, like, actually Injustice 1 had some of the best as far as zoning and rushdown both. MK, it's either like one or the other. I'd like to see MK11 have all archetypes and all play styles, and they all be really good.
Yeah, I would agree. I also want to see the MK official wiki add a term anti-zoning zealots so that we never lose the term from the great M2 Dave.
Well, people already asked me to make a.
Yeah, you want to talk about the whole perception of the game right now, Dave? How it's like a 50-50 everywhere?
What do you mean by that?
Like how half of the people everywhere seem to say this.
Oh,
game
yeah,
is
yeah.
Just, it doesn't look good going one direction. You want to go on? Go
Yeah, it's just kind of like going back what we talked about yesterday as well, and just because I go on YouTube and look at all these comments, and I think generally people like the game. I don't want to be negative because it's ridiculous. I think the game looks amazing. Everybody kind of likes it, but there is that, I don't know, maybe at least 1/4 of the audience, of the fans, who are like, "Oh my God, it's too slow. I can't believe it. This looks like Injustice 3." Again, to me, I don't want to play a game that's all rushed down like MKX, but at the same time, I don't want to play a game that's too defensive or too zoning, because then it's boring. Even for a zoner like me, it's just boring. So again, it just goes to I want to play a game, even if I have to deal with a MK9 Smoke or Martian Manhunter, as long as they're not overpowered, that's okay. But I don't want to play it. I don't want to play a game that's either or. I want to play a game that's something in between, where I can play my character. Again, Tom, if he wants to play, he can play defensive. Zyphox can pick up a flashlight to get into a 50-50 mix-up. Again, I want there to be something in for everybody. And I think that's all we want. We want a game that's like that, right?
Yeah, I agree.
The game has tremendous potential. I have to honestly say I've looking forward to this game more so than I've done other games in the past.
What? Did you let Jade out?
Yeah, I have nothing but positive things to say about this game. Like, the only thing that I agree with people saying is maybe increase the walk speeds or dashing a bit, make them a little bit faster, like 20% or something. But aside from that, I think we should let everything play out. Like, the game looks great.
I think you could make a case maybe for MK9 movement with the dash blocking, if zoning or if that's an issue, then then again, we don't know what's an issue, because if you're telling me you can just flawless block, with some difficulty, of course, all projectiles take no chip, recover faster, then do we really need faster dashes? I understand it's hard to do, but again, we're judging the game at a high level, not at at a low level.
David, I don't mean to cut you off. I gotta head out, guys. I want to thank you guys for having me. Thank you so much for going over a lot of stuff that you saw when you were there.
Yeah,
For sure.
Thank you for coming
All right,
on,
man.
Tom.
Take it easy, guys.
Peace.
Okay, no problem. Have a good one. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much it for the podcast. Like, we pretty much went all the topics.
Yeah,
and
let
stuff.
me
If you guys
just- yeah,
still
let's
want to
just-
like
yeah.
hang out and chat, you guys are more
Yeah.
feel free to do so.
Well, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go eat something. But I want to thank King. Thanks again, dude. I know it was a very very short notice because we
It's
didn't
all
know what's
good.
gonna. Yeah, we didn't know what's gonna happen with
Yeah,
Tom.
there was
Yeah,
a lot of last minute
yeah,
random
yeah.
jumbles.
But I think I think we talked about what the people wanted to hear, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank King for coming on, and Tom. I want to thank my co-hosts and Rio, Zyphox for
Hey,
setting this up. Um, so if you guys want to have any final words to say, you can say so. Otherwise, we're gonna
Well,
wrap this up.
I want to say I'm looking forward to Cabal's reveal on January 30th. How they show the character, I'm really excited for that. I do have some predictions on how I think they're gonna do Cabal in this game. I don't think Cabal is gonna be an execution character anymore. I think they're just gonna make him be a straight up like old style 2D MK character where he's just gonna he'll have his spin back, but he won't be able to cancel it, and he'll just have like some fireballs and some other stuff, and they're gonna be very tame with Cabal this time around. But we'll see. We're gonna see what they're gonna do.
Zyphox, what are your expectations? What are you looking for? And what are some last
man,
words?
I just cannot wait to see if Liu Kang has a low fireball. Because I've been already playing a game like this similar to everybody, or a game like MKX. Well, I've been trying to zone people with low fireball this whole time, not trying to rush people down. So I think my
But
game is gonna translate well, and that's what I'm looking for. I just want to see that low fireball.
King, what about you?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for having me on, and for everyone watching. I hope you didn't think I was like complaining earlier. I was just giving my honest analysis. I do believe this game has a lot of potential.
Oh,
Um,
you were definitely complaining, bro.
I know I do think this game has a lot of potential, and it's the most beautiful game I've ever seen. I just want it to be great. I've loved every single NRS game, even the ones people hate on, like Injustice 1 or whatever. I love them all, and I just hope MK11 is even better than all the rest of them.
It's already looking like it's the best game, to be honest.
I'm really looking forward to Shao Kahn. I can just imagine him like having big, heavy hits, like him just bringing out his hammer and like hitting you, and your body just spins around in a circle. I hope it's like really
Dude, Shao
dramatic.
Kahn's his brutal. I mean, what do they call it? His crushing blows are probably gonna be crazy.
Dude, imagine he just has like 3 crushing blows in like one string.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That like launches you. You know what move that probably crushing blow? You know how Shao Kahn's always had his hammer bash,
Uh-huh.
where he grabs it and hits it over your head and like you like dizzy and shit.
Mhm.
What if the crushing blow for that like zooms in, breaks your skull, and then you're dizzy and get a combo and only does that once? Something like that would
That'd
be
be
so cool to look
sick.
at.
Yeah,
What
That's what
if-
I'm saying, dude. I love the crush and blow mechanic. It just adds so much flair to the game. Like,
What if
for
one of his
spectators
crushing
and
blows
entertainment.
was like, how Shao Kahn's known for having taunts?
Yeah, crushing blow taunt.
Yeah, what if how he points at you and says you suck? What if you're close
Uh-huh.
enough and his finger touches your forehead? That's a crushing blow. That'd be pretty funny.
You're dumb.
That yeah, they could do stuff like that. You never know.
Like it shows your
work.
skull crack and everything.
The fact that they made Baraka look so awesome in this game, I think they could do that to Shiva and stuff like the older MK characters and make them badass.
Yeah, I never cared for Baraka, but when I seen him like in the
He
gameplay
looked
trailer,
awesome, man.
he was badass. And when he bit your arm and
Yeah.
everything, they made him look so savage.
That's why I want to see more of the old school characters like Shiva come back, Jade. Like they can make all these characters look so
Liu
awesome.
Kang come back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Liu Kang's always there.
I know.
Actually,
What?
I don't even think Liu Kang's missed any game except for Deadly Alliance.
Yeah, the Alliance is the only one.
One more thing about Shao Kahn, I hope his taunts, the one where he points at you and says "you suck," that should I was gonna say that should
It should
build
drain
meter
a
in
bar their
place,
defense.
but
Yeah,
there's
something.
no meter build in this game.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But-
That's right. Yeah.
No, it should drain a meter from them. Like take away a
Ooh,
bar of their
yeah.
defense. Like to
And-
taunt them.
Give you a buff.
Or give you health. Because in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, Shao Kahn had his taunts. When he would do them, it would restore his health. Like it would give him like health back.
And the one where he puts like his fists on his hips and just laughs like ha ha ha, he should just be
Yeah.
standing in place with armor. Like imagine how funny that would be if you had a big life lead over someone in tournament and they had like low health, and you're just
They try
standing
to hit
full
you and it's
screen
armored.
and you just keep taunting like the laughing one, and even they're like throwing projectiles and stuff, and you just keep armoring through them, laughing at them.
That would be demoralizing.
Well, guys, I'm gonna peace out again. I want to thank our viewers. Please leave the feedback. I'm gonna make it, thread on Test Your Might and leave us some feedback on YouTube. And I mean, you're gonna hear plenty of us. We're gonna have King, I'm sure, on again in time.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, we'll do another one. The next one will be after the Cabal reveal.
Yeah,
January
yeah,
30th.
exactly. Which is when is it? 30th of this month.
Like, yeah, the 30th.
Yeah, so I'm sure you're
So
gonna
in,
hear
like, less
from
than
us
2 weeks.
again, and we are all excited for the game. I'm hoping for some sick ass zoning, my dudes, and I can't wait.